As November deepens, the days grow shorter and the air turns crisp, but the tropics are far from quiet. While many are already thinking of winter, the Atlantic hurricane season still lingers, refusing to let go just yet. Hurricane season isn't over yet. In fact, some of the most unpredictable and impactful storms can form late in the season, catching communities off guard when they least expect it. Our focus now shifts to the South-Central Caribbean, a region that often brews trouble as the calendar nears its end. Here, meteorologists are closely monitoring the development of a major tropical disturbance, expected to take shape around November 10th or 11th. This area is notorious for spawning late-season storms that can intensify quickly and take unusual paths. Warm sea surface temperatures, still lingering from summer, and a surge of moisture streaming in from the Pacific are combining to fuel this system. These ingredients create a volatile mix, making this disturbance a classic late-season threat. The atmosphere is primed, and all it takes is a spark for a storm to ignite. The big question on everyone's mind: where will it go? Forecasting tropical systems in November is notoriously tricky, with shifting winds and changing ocean currents adding to the uncertainty. The American GFS model, one of the most widely used forecasting tools, predicts a broad low-pressure area forming south of Jamaica. According to this scenario, the system would drift northward, potentially gaining strength as it moves into the Gulf of Mexico. By mid-month, it could threaten the Florida Panhandle, or even other parts of the Gulf Coast, bringing heavy rain, strong winds, and the risk of coastal flooding. The European model, however, paints a different picture. It keeps the system weaker and steers it westward, hugging the coasts of Honduras and Belize. In this scenario, the disturbance would cross the Yucatan Peninsula, likely sparing the Gulf from a direct hit. This path would still bring heavy rain and gusty winds to Central America, but the broader U.S. coastline might avoid the worst. Both models agree on the initial formation of the system, but after that, their paths diverge. This uncertainty is common with late-season storms, as atmospheric patterns become more complex and less predictable. Meteorologists are watching closely, comparing data and running new simulations as fresh information comes in. The European model's westward track fits the typical pattern for late-season storms, which often move toward Central America. But the GFS's scenario, with a northward turn into the Gulf, can't be ruled out, especially with warm waters still present. The stakes are high, and even small changes in the atmosphere could shift the storm's path dramatically. For now, residents from the Western Caribbean to Central America and the Gulf Coast should stay alert and keep a close eye on updates. As forecasts evolve and new data emerges, preparation and awareness will be key to staying safe in the face of this late-season tropical threat. No matter its path, the main danger from this Caribbean system is water, torrential, prolonged rain. Slow movement means rain bands will drench the same areas for days, triggering life-threatening flash floods and mudslides, especially in mountainous regions. Models show catastrophic rainfall, up to 32 inches for Honduras and Nicaragua, 8 to 12 inches for Belize, and significant totals for Jamaica, Haiti, and the Lesser Antilles. Even conservative forecasts predict dangerous flooding, with saturated ground primed for disaster. This isn't about wind, it's about relentless rain and the risk of rivers and hillsides giving way. Residents in flood-prone areas must prepare now before the first drops fall. Heed evacuation orders and move to higher ground if needed. Early action will save lives. While rainfall is the main threat, wind intensity is expected to be modest, likely a tropical depression or weak storm, not a hurricane. The system's broad, sprawling structure prevents it from consolidating into a powerful cyclone. Warm waters and low wind shear may allow some strengthening, but land interaction, especially if it tracks west, will disrupt its core. Staying near land keeps winds weaker but increases the risk of flooding rains. By November 19th or 20th, a surge of dry air from the north will cut off the storm's moisture, leading to rapid weakening. The real danger is the water, not the wind. Flooding, not hurricane-force gusts, is the story here. As the tropics stir and the Atlantic churns with energy, a very different kind of storm is brewing far to the north. While many eyes are on the tropics, meteorologists are tracking a series of fast-moving winter storms known as Alberta Clippers, which are now racing out of western Canada and setting their sights on the northern United States. These Alberta Clippers are notorious for their speed and intensity. They sweep across the Canadian prairies and dive into the U.S. Midwest, often catching communities off guard with their sudden arrival. As they barrel south and east, they bring with them bursts of snow, rapidly falling temperatures, and fierce biting winds that can make conditions treacherous in a matter of hours. The first of these systems is set to arrive between November 5th and 6th, delivering not just a quick shot of snow, but also a dramatic drop in temperatures and wind gusts that can whip snow into blinding whiteouts. In some areas, the wind chill will make it feel much colder than the actual temperature, adding to the danger. This first clipper is also expected to spark severe thunderstorms and damaging winds, potentially topping 60 miles per hour, in major cities like Cleveland and Buffalo. The combination of snow, rain, and wind could lead to hazardous conditions on the roads and even structural damage in some neighborhoods. Widespread wind advisories have already been issued, stretching from the Catskills through New England. Residents in these areas should be prepared for sudden gusts that can make driving dangerous and outdoor activities risky. Gusts this strong are capable of toppling trees and power lines, leading to scattered power outages and blocked roads. Emergency crews are on alert, ready to respond to downed lines and debris. As the cold air pours in behind the front, rain will quickly change to snow in the higher elevations of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Mountain passes and rural roads could become slick and snow-covered in just a few hours. Hot on the heels of the first, another Alberta clipper is already forming and will follow close behind, threatening to bring a second round of wintry weather before communities have a chance to recover. This next system, expected between November 8th and 10th, could dump heavy, wet snow on cities like Chicago, Detroit, and Cleveland. The weight of this snow can bring down tree limbs and power lines, and make travel especially hazardous. For millions, this marks a rapid and dramatic shift from the colors of autumn to the harsh realities of winter. The landscape will transform almost overnight, catching many off guard. Residents should prepare now for possible power outages, hazardous travel, and the need for extra layers and emergency supplies. Make sure your vehicles are winter-ready and keep an eye on local forecasts for the latest updates. Winter is arriving early and with force, reminding us all of the power and unpredictability of nature as the seasons change. The second cold blast around November 9th will trigger intense lake-effect snow across the Great Lakes. Arctic air sweeping over warm lake waters creates narrow, powerful snow bands, dumping several inches per hour on downwind communities. Northeast Ohio, Erie, and Buffalo will be hit hardest, with the Tug Hill Plateau and Syracuse also in the crosshairs. Some towns may see over 20 inches of snow by mid-November, while nearby areas get little. Whiteout conditions and treacherous travel are likely within these bands. A separate system around November 17th could add even more snow to upstate New York. Lake-effect snow will bring parts of the region to a standstill. Stay off the roads during the worst of it. Canada is also bracing for an early widespread winter as Pacific storms and Alberta clippers sweep across the country. British Columbia's mountains will see meters of snow, while lower elevations get heavy rain. The prairies, Ontario, and Quebec will be hit by quick bursts of wet snow, with 10 to 20 inches possible in snowbelt regions. Major travel routes like Highway 401 will face repeated disruptions. Atlantic Canada will see a messy mix of rain and snow, with up to 5 inches of precipitation in some areas. This coast-to-coast storm track signals an abrupt end to autumn. Winter is settling in early for most Canadians. While North America faces winter, the Western Pacific is in the grip of a hyperactive typhoon season. Exceptionally warm waters and favorable conditions have spawned multiple powerful storms. Typhoon Kalmagi is intensifying and targeting Vietnam, threatening destructive winds, storm surge, and up to 40 inches of rain, triggering catastrophic floods and mudslides. Meanwhile, Tropical Depression 32W could become a super typhoon, with winds over 150 mph and a possible track toward Taiwan. The northern Philippines and Taiwan could see 20 to 28 inches of rain, overwhelming infrastructure. These back-to-back typhoons threaten millions with extreme rainfall and widespread damage. The Western Pacific remains on high alert. Preparedness is critical as these storms approach. After the recent storms, a powerful blast of Arctic air is set to sweep across the United States, ushering in a dramatic shift in the nation's weather. This surge of frigid air, originating from the far north, will push southward with remarkable speed, replacing the milder conditions many have enjoyed with a sudden biting chill. Meteorologists are tracking this cold front as it barrels across the country, bringing with it not just lower temperatures, but also gusty winds and a stark change in the atmosphere. Temperatures will plunge far below normal from the Rockies all the way to the East Coast, with many regions experiencing their coldest readings so far this season. The temperature anomaly maps show a deep blue and purple swath stretching across much of the nation, signaling just how unusual and widespread this cold snap will be. Snowy landscapes will become a common sight, even in areas that typically don't see snow this early in the year. The Northeast and Ohio Valley will be among the first to feel the brunt of this Arctic air. Residents there can expect daytime highs to struggle to reach the 40s, while wind chills will make it feel even colder, often dipping into the 20s and 30s. Mornings will be especially brisk, with frost-coating cars and sidewalks, and people bundling up in heavy coats, scarves and gloves just to step outside. Overnight, the mercury will drop even further, with lows sinking into the 20s across a wide area. This hard freeze will effectively end the growing season for many farmers and gardeners, as delicate plants and crops succumb to the cold. Fields will glisten with frost at sunrise, and thermometers will confirm just how far temperatures have fallen. By November 10th, the cold will have tightened its grip on most of the eastern two-thirds of the country. Even the deep south, which usually enjoys milder autumns, will see daytime highs only in the 40s, a rare occurrence for this time of year. Cities from Atlanta to Dallas will experience a true taste of winter, with residents donning winter coats and bracing against the chill. This cold pattern isn't just a brief event. Through the middle of the month, each new storm system will reinforce the chill, bringing repeated rounds of snow flurries and gusty winds. Neighborhoods will see snow accumulate, and city streets may become slick and icy as the wintry weather persists. The persistent cold and gray skies will make it feel like winter has arrived early, with little hope for a warm-up until late November. Parks and cityscapes will remain frozen, and the landscape will take on a bleak, wintry appearance. Now is the time to break out your winter gear. Dig out those scarves, hats and gloves, and make sure your family is prepared for the weeks of cold ahead. For many, this will be an early and sustained taste of winter, a reminder to get ready for the season. As the cold settles in, remember to stay warm and take precautions. Prepare your home and car for winter weather, check on neighbors, and keep emergency supplies handy. This extended cold snap is a reminder of how quickly the seasons can change, so bundle up and be ready for whatever winter brings. As weather turns volatile worldwide, staying informed and prepared is essential. In the Caribbean and Central America, focus on flood risk, know your evacuation plan and have supplies ready. In the US and Canada, prepare for power outages, dangerous travel, and severe cold. Postpone non-essential travel during snow events and keep emergency kits in your home and car. Have multiple ways to receive weather alerts. Know AA radios, apps, and local news. Information and early action are your best defenses. Respect the power of water, wind, and winter. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and be ready to act.